Yes, time for some Type 40, a little extra Type 40 for you here on the Facebook channel with me, Dan Hadley, Birmingham's king of the geeks, as always. And yeah, we're doing some real-time traveling this time. We're broadcasting to you from the past, not the distant past. We're not in the Middle Ages with the links and and all that lot. No, we're just a few days ago, but we're beaming over to you now, whatever time zone or time stream you are, wherever you are in the world, for a little extra Type 40. Okay, what's this all about then? Well, I'm glad you asked. And to help me answer you, I have a co-pilot here for this Type 40 extra. It's my friend, Mr. Ian David Diaz.
Hello.
Hello, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Recovered from Type 40 Live last week, yeah?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, wasn't it? Everybody was on their best behaviour, should I say? It was good. It was fun. Yeah.
Back of the net. So yeah, that was the 50th Type 40 live stream. Can you believe it? The other evening.
It has developed quite since the first one, So yeah,
things are coming along. People seem to be enjoying it, and we're loving all the interaction, obviously in the live chat, all the comments that we get there, as well as afterwards. People come back to the video, they ask us questions, they tell us what they've enjoyed or what they haven't, and it's put our ideas out in there, things that come to them later on. I really love all that. I really appreciate the time that all of you put into doing that, and obviously you've seen that a lot of us answer where and when we can. Please keep that coming, keep all that engagement coming. That is what we like. And it's not just about that, of course. It isn't. There's the Type 40 podcast itself too. Where's that? Yes, what's that about? Type 40 is a podcast on the Fandom Podcast Network, and now available in video form here too on the Spacebooks YouTube channel with the dedicated home feed for Type 40. It's type40.podbean.com, and it's also over on Spotify, TuneIn, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, iHeart, everywhere you can find your podcasts. We are there. You just got to search Type 40 or Type 40 Doctor Who at the very most, and we will pop up. And the latest podcast that we've got out is this one, episode 99. This was the pair of us, wasn't it, Ian? Do you remember this one?
I do. Yeah, it was all right.
So we were going through the rumours, weren't we, about David Tennant's possible return to Doctor Who?
Yeah, we know he's not coming back. Or do we?
Well, we're a few weeks on from this now, but the rumours aren't really going away. But we took stock of all of that, played with the ideas a little bit, and then we reviewed his very first appearance there, the Christmas Invasion, that Christmas special from back in 2005.
Yep.
That is still so popular, I think. So yeah, you'll find that on the Spacebook channel and in the playlists, and dropping onto all the podcatchers and onto the master feed in the next day or two. But on top of that, what else have we got? On top of that, what I wanted to talk to you about was the future reviews, Ian, because obviously we talked about the Christmas Invasion there, and I was thinking, well, what next? People seem to enjoy it. We enjoyed it. Wendy from the Department of Wendology, ticked all her boxes. She seemed to enjoy it. So we're going to do some more. But how does one arrive at a story or stories to review with Doctor Who when there are so many of them? It's a process of elimination, hundreds and hundreds of them. And obviously there are some that everybody's got an opinion about most episodes of Doctor Who. But I think there's so many of them that kind of sit there on the shelf before you go back to them. So how do you prioritize and what do you choose? I thought, well, I can't choose. I don't know, suppose you could. So let's relieve that burden and get somebody else or something else to choose for us. We're going to connect with that. We're going to connect with that now. Yeah, because the general idea is, as the podcast rolls along in, what the situation that we're in is that over the last nearly 4 years that the show's been going, around a third of the episodes have been reviews of brand new episodes of Doctor Who, because obviously people come to a podcast or YouTube channels or wherever else to get, largely to get reviews of the content. Everybody loves a good review, don't they?
Yeah. Well, I basically love New Who and I love Classic Who personally, and I've listened to a couple of reviews and stuff like that. They've been really good. I mean, yeah, I've listened to Type 4. I've listened to some of your podcasts and stuff like that. I don't always agree, but
And
It's always good
that's
listening
the
to
joy.
reviews.
That is the joy in reviews, I think. When you hear people, I mean, this is why I enjoy it when you come on so much, because
Really?
you've always got, yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you take an episode like the Christmas Invasion, for example. If you
Yeah.
haven't heard it out there, Ian's opinion of it was very different. Well, no, it was different in key ways, wasn't it, to how Wendy and myself had received it. And I think there are things that you felt about it which were unique to you, which I think the pair of us, I don't want to speak for Wendy, but I know that I enjoyed hearing that I hadn't looked at it in quite that way before. I mean, what I find sometimes is that when somebody does that, Ian, it can, if not change my mind, it can certainly show things in a different light, either positively or negatively.
Well, it's good that it's good. Look, I listen to what you guys say and you listen to what I say, and then you come to a conclusion. But with my gripe with New Who has always been that it hasn't grown up yet. Do you know what I mean? And Russell, bless him, Russell T did his best and he did a great job. But I still felt that he was trying to cater for kids that didn't exist at that moment in time. Do you know what I mean? Yes, there were loads of kids that were into Doctor Who, whatever, but he was still treating it as a kid's thing. Kids love watching adult stuff. And that's the key to making a good kids thing. If you want to make a good thing, you always aim for the adults, and kids will sort of gravitate towards it. With this now, the eating bins got me annoyed. The spinning Christmas tree got me annoyed. But it didn't get you guys annoyed because you liked it, and I just thought, well, after everything that we've seen from the Americans, from Battlestar Galactica straight across to Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you don't see stupid things like that. As far as I'm concerned, they were really stupid and silly. You don't see things like that because those shows are basically made for young adults and adults. And that's why I was disappointed with a lot of stuff that Russell T did, that he was still treating it, he was still bringing it down to the kids level. I mean, come on, eating bins. Come on. Let's face it.
I mean, I won't say that it doesn't bother me or that I like it particularly, but you sort of weigh these situations up and you think, oh, well, okay, so I've got to sort of wince when that bit happens, and that's a bit cringe, as they say. But I've got 48 minutes worth of it that I largely absolutely love, so therefore I'll take the hit. There's an expression when we look back to the classic show before new Doctor Who started, before Doctor Who came back to TV in 2005. We used to talk on Gallifrey Base when it was Outpost Gallifrey.
That was the website, wasn't it?
Other places where fans used to connect and talk about it, then the classic show and the TV movie. There used to be an expression whenever we started talking about those classic stories, and it was because of one of the most celebrated of the entire 26-year run of classic Doctor Who is the talents of Weng Chiang. And it's 6 episodes, it's sort of steeped in Victoriana, and largely, pretty much everybody loves it. But the expression that sort of came out about it was, it's brilliant if you ignore the rat. And I think that philosophy survives to this day. That episode, Rose, is brilliant if you ignore the burping bins. And I won't say with most Doctor Who stories, but I think there are key Doctor Who stories where that still applies in one way or another. And what I like about it is that new Doctor Who hasn't sort of stood still with that kind of content. I think it can still. In fact, in recent years, there's been a lot of cringe. But I'm talking about proper Doctor Who that sort of that went on hiatus with when Peter Capaldi left in 2017.
Yeah.
But I think it's largely evolved from the Chris Eccleston through the David Tennant era, and then as Matt Smith took the lead with the series taking a grander place, stepping up to being a truly international success story through Netflix. And then when Peter Capaldi took over back in 2014 to follow that up and take us through and close out Stephen Moffat's time on the show, I think it all represented an evolution in some way, shape or form, all the time pushing on and adjusting here and there, adjusting the comic strokes that sometimes do put people off, as well as the action and the way that the budget's managed and things like that.
Well, I totally disagree. They dropped the look. I love Peter Capaldi as the Doctor, but they should never have cast him as the Doctor because they killed the audience. They really did. And I've said this before, and I'm glad
I don't disagree with what you say.
Yeah, I'm glad that Peter did it, because I think Peter's brilliant as the Doctor personally. But the Who fans didn't want to see someone that was old as the Doctor, because they were too used to, Matt and David.
You're
So
probably
to
right.
do that, you killed them. You killed most of the audience right there and then, especially the international market. You killed them.
I
And
think it hurt. It didn't. I think the
yeah.
real I think the real killer stroke was a little later
Oh,
on.
that destroyed it. That destroyed Doctor Who. It really did. I mean, there was no
But
need for it at all.
but of course, the good news is that the good stuff still lines our shelves and fills up our
Yeah,
playlist.
exactly.
It's all available to watch most of the time on iPlayer if you're in the UK, or on HBO Max if you're in the States. And some of it's on Sky as well, isn't it, Ian? Because you've got
It's on
your Sky.
Sky. Yeah, it's on
I
Sky.
can't wait.
I think New Who's on Sky. You can watch any kind of New Who on Sky. But if you go back, even when you see the John Pertwee version with the spiders and stuff like that, the special effects were so bad and the spiders were so rubber. It was still treated seriously. Seriously, do you know what I mean? That was a threat that was going to bring the Doctor to an end. Do you know what I mean? You got that, but as I said, when you got New Who and they still haven't grown up since Classic Who, then I throw my, I kind of do this all the time when was watching New Who, but majority
It's
of
the
it's good though,
same
I must
thing.
admit. Yeah.
Ignore the rat. Just remember, ignore the rat.
I can't
Everybody.
ignore it though.
Hashtag
That's me.
ignore the rat. I think
Ignore the rat. Ignore the bin.
I think it's very much a way of tempering one's mind, as well as managing our own expectations. But it is all part of the fun. And there's some people. I mean, for a few years, for example, I used to know somebody who moved away eventually, but they used to say to me, they assumed because I was a Doctor Who fan that I also loved B movies. Like Plan 9 from Outer Space and all those kinds of things. And they say, I bet you love all that sort of Ed Wood's movies and all that. And I think I was a teenager at the time, or in my early 20s. We were at college. And I was mystified as to why she thought that I would love tat like that. And she thought simply because she'd seen Doctor Who and seen the giant rats and the licorice allsort men and stuff like that, and assumed that because I loved it so much that I must also love B movies because that was old tat too.
Yeah,
I was deeply
offended.
I was deeply offended, Chris. Deeply offended because to me, classic Doctor Who at the time, that's all we had. But to me, even though it was low budget, it was the most epic thing ever. Of course, I mean, Doctor Who did come back very, very successfully, and I won't say it reinvented the wheel, but it absolutely took its place again back.
No, but it did. It reinvented
minds of the nation.
It reinvented the Doctor Who. It did. I mean, as I said, I may complain about the talking bins and the spinning Christmas tree, but the real Doctors that you see on that picture, just to forget about the one on the right, they actually brought it. They actually brought it to life. I mean, Matt was brilliant as the Doctor. So was Chris, and so was David, and Peter was fantastic in the really good episodes when he was, because they were mostly crap episodes and full of a lot of woke rubbish with Peter. But those four people brought Doctor Who back to the screen and brought it back to life. And, you got to take your hat off to them, really. Let's face it. It's a shame about that picture, isn't it?
And so now, yes, again, you have to just squint at it slightly. But of course, we are now in the situation where all these years on, where there are, even if you take the classic show out of the equation, there are now 300 stories to choose from.
Yeah,
that all of us, we can sort of jump in with them at any time. Whether you're the kind of person who has to watch a season of Doctor Who completely in order, or an entire Doctor's worth.
No, I don't.
Or if you can just cherry pick like that. I go through phases. I'm going through a cherry picking phase at the moment. So I thought that would be a great point to bring in this. How do we choose which episode to review and watch next without letting our biases sort of lead us down certain ways?
Okay.
How can we pick one that's completely fair? So I thought that the best way to do this, everybody, was a total random. So we're going to go over to a website that I found here, and it's called, let me get this right, it's called the randomizer.net for Doctor Who fans. So here it is. We're going to get up on screen now.
As long as it's not a Jodie episode, we're fine.
This is what we're looking at. Well, this is it. We can go through it together, you see, because it says here, welcome to the Randomizer. How do you watch Doctor Who? Doctor Who has been running for over 50 years now with 850 episodes and 300 stories, the Doctors. But how on earth do you decide what to watch? And that's exactly the situation that we're in now, isn't it? So we're going to go through this and we are going to arrive at the story, our story, by using the randomizer here. So let's
that's interesting.
Take a look. Yes, we can. I think what we've got to do is select here. There's an option somewhere. Yes, show settings there. So we'll hit that and see what it asks us to do, shall we? Okay, Doctors. Now, what are you thinking? All Doctors?
No. Will it include Jodie though? If you go all Doctors. Well, you got New Who, Classic Who.
So we want to specifically review new series Doctor Who, didn't we?
Okay,
in this particular slot. So if I click on new series only, then it takes us down here. And then we've got Chris Eccleston, David Tennant, Matt Smith, Vid Capaldi, and I don't know, somebody else. So let's just
click that one off.
Get rid of that. Because here at Type 40, you wouldn't want to put us through that again, would you? There are already reviews of every agonizing episode that stars Jodie Whittaker. I'm not going to say as the Doctor, and you can find those on type40.podbean.com and some reviews in video form here on the Facebook channel. So you can find those there. But yeah, so we're looking at the fun stuff, the good stuff with Chris, Dave, Matt, and Pete there. So that no longer episodes than 6. That's just for the classic stuff. We're not in the classic era, so no, that's irrelevant. Skip missing stories. That's also irrelevant because they all exist. Now it says here, don't repeat stories. Well, this is the first time we're using it, don't we? So we don't want to repeat it. We don't want to sort of talk about the Christmas invasion one week and then the Christmas invasion the time after. So we'll say that so it doesn't repeat the stories. And click history. There are no stories in our history, so we haven't got to worry about that yet. Okay, so that's everything selected, Ian. I think does that make sense to you?
Yep, it makes sense to me.
Makes sense to me too. So
it'll be interesting what it selects.
I think we are a go. So let's have one last look down here to make sure that there's extravagant future plans. At the moment, the randomizer will choose a random single Doctor Who story for your enjoyment. You can select it from the classic, the new series, or both. You can decide to avoid or include certain Doctors. Oh, boy, have we done that.
Yeah.
All the rest. So I think we're doing everything right, Ian.
Coming in.
Okay, this is the Doctor in the TARDIS. Next stop, everywhere. Let's see what we get. So we're going to hit this button now and choose our story. And we're going to stick to it, okay? Gentleman's promise. Pinky wiggle. Pinky finger there. Yeah.
Well, whatever.
Brace yourselves, everybody. Here we go. All those seasons worth of Doctor Who, as long as it's not... So we've done the Christmas invasion. And we've done a couple of the others. So we'll choose again if any of those pop up. But here we go. Brace yourselves in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The next story we're going to be reviewing on the Type 40 Doctor Who podcast is...
What's this?
We've done Rose.
Rose.
So
we did Rose already.
That's so we've reviewed 3 and it's picked one that we have. Okay, let's try again. We've got to choose again. 5, 4. I can't believe that.
Already. Yeah, no,
3, 2, 1. The next story we're going to be reviewing on the Type 40 Doctor Who podcast is The Unicorn and the Wasp, starring David Tennant
and what's her name?
David Tennant and Catherine Tate.
That's it, Catherine Tate, yeah.
We have our story in. We have our story. We've just got to break the news to Wendy.
Yeah, I wonder what Wendy's going to think.
Okay,
let's watch that one again.
Yeah, so we're not quite sure when this is going to happen because the thing is, as we usually record a podcast and broadcast it, we've been broadcasting them live to YouTube and getting people's comments in and then moving on with them. We're not going to be around to do that this week. We're stuck at various distant ends of the time vortex, aren't we? And, I'm doing something family related. You are on a mission for the Time Lords themselves. Yeah. So we'll be back in a few weeks' time with our review of the Unicorn and the Wasp. Look forward to that. And in the meantime, please check out everything else that's on the channel, including that 50th. No, not that one.
No,
50th.
the wrong one.
It's the wrong one. That 50th live stream that we put out quite recently. There'll be another live stream in a couple of days too. Yeah, but if you haven't caught the 50th one yet, we do recommend that. Lots of fun and games, and there's the launch of JT's competition too. There's the Doctor Who Diary and the ad break. You can't really go wrong. 2.5 hours worth of your life that you definitely won't want to get back. In fact, you'll probably want to go and watch it again. And while you're here, Ian, what they got to do?
You got to subscribe. You've got to subscribe.
Subscribe. Please like this video.
If we get 3 more subscriptions, I will make sure I'll get some sexy woman to walk across this screen holding up the plaque saying, subscribe.
There you go.
I will get one for this channel. And make my next shoot, I'll get one. So, yeah. Subscribe.
What Alan Partridge used to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, get subscribing. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that little cloister bell so you get the notifications about when we're going live next. Exactly what we're up to. It could be that Unicorn and the Wasp review. That's coming up, but it could be anything else that's going on the channel, Type 40 and Type 40 Live, or listed our classic pop culture, geek entertainment podcast.
Can I recommend something?
You can. Well, it depends. Are they in competition to us?
No. I'm going to recommend a show, and I've only seen 2 episodes so far, but it's good. Can I recommend it?
Is it the show that I was raving to you about a few weeks ago that I like the look of?
No.
So it's a massive
It's one of them. Yeah, that one. So I'm going to recommend Reacher.
Yes.
I've been watching Reacher, and as far as I can tell, there's no woke crap in it at all so far. The people are good looking, because that's what it used to be in the past. And we've got a guy that's basically manly, beats up people. A man's man. Yeah.
Like Big John Wayne. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but not because of that. It's a good show. I recommend it if you ever get a chance, guys, to watch it. It's on Amazon, and you can watch the whole season if you want, or watch them one every week.
So it's all dropped at once, right? Because some of their other shows, like The Wheel in Time and Jack Ryan, they drop 1 episode per week, don't they? But they have dropped them all at once. I don't like it.
The thing is, though, you forget about the Tom Cruise version of Jack Reacher. And I like Tom Cruise version of Jack Reacher, but this is a very different Jack Reacher. It's more closer to the novel. I haven't read the novel, so I've been told, than the actual Tom Cruise version. So... And it's very entertaining as far as I'm concerned. So there you go.
Sounds good. Well, sounds good. We'll have to get together and talk about it in the near future, I think. But thank you everybody for watching. Let's just recap. What have we got to tell them, and why we're telling them about it? Type 40 podcast over at type40.podbean.com, or here on the Spacebook channel in video form. Thanks for all the interaction. Keep it coming. There's Type 40 Live every Thursday. We're moving the time around that a little bit, so it's going slightly earlier, just so we've got a little bit more time to play with get more of your comments in, get more of that interaction in, and all those regular segments that people seem to enjoy just as much as we do. That's it for this time. Please hit the playlists and subscribe. Find something and like and subscribe and share and hit the little cloister bell, and head back here soon for whatever else is coming up on the channel. Be another Type 40 Live in a couple of days. But that's it for this time. Ian, thanks for joining me for this.
No worries.
What's clenching exercise in selecting a story. I think we're going to be using the randomizer from now on. I think
that'll be fun.
Well, yeah, it's good, isn't it? I like that.
Don't forget to check off the Jodie Doctor. Take it off.
Well,
just in case.
I think now it will register now, according to my IP address, that's me, that my login and everything, this is me, and this is Type 40's account, and so we won't get the repeats. We've only reviewed 3 stories, and it would have to throw one up, wouldn't it? But that is it for this time. Thanks for watching, everybody, and please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that cloister bell, and we can get the but that's it for now. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll speak to you again soon. Bye-bye. See you, Ian.
Bye.